Apple's here. There we go.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Why don't we, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and why don't we start with the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's our inspiration?
Is our inspirator present?
Yes, we'll look at that. The agenda. Is that you? Is it you, Lynn? Oh, we'll wait then. That's fine. Any announcements?
Do we have any announcements this morning?
Dave,
Come
on.
Good morning. I don't know if I see him here online yet. In collaboration with Dave Jones, I am now teaching ASL online Zooming, and we're going to be doing that on Thursdays at 7 p.m. We used to do it on Mondays at noon, but we changed it now to 7 p.m. on Thursdays. Every Toastmaster is welcome, and according to Dave Jones, we have guests are welcome too, so you don't have to be a Toastmaster. Hopefully that brings ASL to more people, but also maybe they'll look at the Toastmasters too and maybe join in a group somewhere else. And on a week from tomorrow, I'm going to Clarence Toastmasters meeting, and I'm going to try and they asked me to give a speech on ASL, and I'm hoping to recruit them also to come Zoom with me on Thursdays at 7. Thank you for your attention.
And today is our open house, so there are refreshments available. Now, let's see. We have I'll let you know who is present in the room. Len Thornton, Dave Shandon, Nancy Ferry, Jackie Kenny, Mike Florio, Joe Budnick, Mary Cavanaro, Kate Orr, Tracy Farrell, Maggie Craig, and Marty Johnston. And on Zoom, Mark Campus, Phil Russell, Sylvia Baptiste, Steve Smith, Jill Roaring, Anne Marie Lenhart, Margot Bittner, Beth Banks, and Marshall Song. And Eric has arrived. Now our inspirator. Is that Lynn? Okay, yeah.
Yes, I'll do this remotely from my perch here. I have a couple quotes about termites. That's our theme today, is it not?
Actually.
Okay. The great success of ants and termites, between them, they may comprise 1/3 of all the animal biomass of land animals, is undoubtedly down to their division of labor. And I know we're termites, but if the termites got together, the house would fall down. And finally, assumptions are the termites of relationships. Madam Toastmaster.
We're ready for you.
We'd like to give a special welcome to Maggie Craig, who is our newest member. And now I would like to present our Toastmaster for the day, Dave Licata. Oh, I'm being told that there is juice in the fridge.
I was pretty sure this morning that my last words were going to be, why is this room so far down the aisle as I raced? It did. It rolled up. Thank God. I got every green light on transit though, and that worked out well. Else things would have been worse. All right, please raise your glasses. We have a toast. Overture, light the lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing or nursing a part. We know every part by heart. This is a toast to the men and women, the creative crew of Warner Brothers that made the Warner Brothers cartoons, and that part of the Warner Brothers lot was referred to as Termite Terrace. So that's the meaning of Termite Terrace. In case I said to Michael, I said, when you put together the agenda, I said, put Termite Terrace and then put Google it. So he goes, you're giving people homework? I said, yeah, Mike, you got to do a little homework. It's an educational club. So I heard Lenny do the inspiration. Steve Smith here. Hi, Steve. How are you this morning?
I'm
You have
good.
a word for us?
I do.
All righty.
I did indeed Google termite terrace because I had no idea what you were talking about. And when I found out what it was, I was fascinated by this. And I determined that this is actually part of our heritage.
Ah,
The word of the day is heritage. And it's defined as something transmitted or acquired from a predecessor, a legacy, an inheritance. So that seemed to me an appropriate word for the day. And I will be, you want me to talk about my other jobs as long as you got me on?
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be listening for that to see who uses it. I'll also be listening for uses and abuses of the English language. Also added to my many duties this morning, I am the counter, which means I'll be listening for ahs, sums, ands, and any other fun crutch words you decide to come up with. I'll be listening.
All right. Thank you
Back to
very
you,
much,
Dave.
Steve. Anne Marie Leonard, how nice to see you again. Yeah, welcome.
So
And
nice to be
would
here.
you explain your job, which is Quizmaster?
Yes, I'll be glad to. First, David, I think you should get the first prize for having one of the most innovative and unique topics for a Toastmaster club. It's really incredible. And I did have to look it up also, and very obscure, but very interesting. So I'll be anxious to see what you present to us. I will be the quiz master making up some questions, and I will have the opportunity to ask them at the end of the meeting. So please, everybody, pay strict attention and also take some notes.
Thank you so much. I find some irony here. My general evaluator is Nancy Ferry, and she's pretty much my general evaluator every week. Nancy, please come up and explain your duties. You know, you give me a hard time.
Of course, I give you a hard time. This morning, I will be listening for the general flow of the meeting, how things are, whether they're smooth, choppy, where we could grow. And I will also be evaluating our 3 evaluators. That's my role this morning. And I'll start with, don't count on green lights.
All our participants this morning are invited before the timer throws the timer switch on to share with us your favorite Warner Brothers character or Warner Brothers cartoon. Marshall, all the way in China. Do you get Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, and all the characters that I'm talking about from the great Warner Brothers Termite Terrace Cartoon Factory. Our quote master, Marshall Song.
Okay, thank you to Master. Today's quote is from a traditional Chinese famous man, Confucius. Confucius said, "Do not do to others what you would not like them to do to you. Do not do to others what you would not like them to do to you." I heard Confucius also famous in USA. There are 3 states on the United States Supreme Court. They are Moses, Confucius, and Solomon. Karen Armstrong is a famous British author and commentator. She was a Roman Catholic nun. Armstrong's writing explores the common values of the great religions, whether it is Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, or Taoism. The common value is one sentence: do not do to others what you would not like them to do to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Many of us in this room are quite familiar how Bugs Bunny really pulls up that kind of a quotation about, but he made sure he did to others as what was done to him, that's for sure. Our jester, Eric Snyder. Could you please take a moment to introduce your guest, Katie?
Thank you. Thank you, David. I can't claim her as my guest. She is our guest. She found us online. And this is Katie Reese, who was online driving last week and could come in person this week. And so maybe at the end, she'll share what she thinks today if she has time. And she's out of Youngstown and found us online and so called me since I'm one of the contacts on the website. Back to you, Dave.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask what the word of the day is?
The word of the day is heritage. Welcome so much to the meeting, and we're very interested that you're from Youngstown, and we're going to give you an assignment. Next time you come from Youngstown, grab Nancy Rose for us. We had a member, yeah, we had a member from Youngstown. All right. Oh, Joe's the timer. Joe Budnack. Kate, you'll be thrilled to find out that we time everything, especially in my case.
Good morning. Good morning. I am the timer this morning, and table topics is 1 to 3 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Speeches are 5 to 7, and evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second buffer. And I grew up on Warner Brothers cartoons, and I had a soft spot for Marvin the Martian. But Bugs Bunny is oftentimes menace.
I suppose you realize, Earthling, this means war.
And it usually did. Thank you.
There's a line in Duck Soup. It's a Marx Brothers film. It is purported to be the first anti-war movie when Groucho is the prime minister of Fredonia, and he gets in a terrible argument with the prime minister of Sylvania, and they end up, Groucho loses it, and he gets slapped by the other prime minister, and he said, "Of course, you know, this means war." Marvin the Martian used it many times. Bugs used it as well. Of course, you know, this means war. So that's part of our heritage. All right, now. Another bit of oral interpretation. When we're done with public speaking 101, we move on to oral interpretation. So I'm going to take another shot here. My name is Daffy Duck. I work on a merry-go-round. The job was swell. I did quite well till the merry-go-round broke down. Toot, toot, toot. There you go. So if you're wondering where that came from, I was happy to share it with you. Our table topics master this morning is Tracy Farrell. I wonder if Tracy has a favorite cartoon from Warner Brothers or a favorite character or somebody she strongly identifies with.
Who do I? Bugs Bunny. Everybody loves Bugs Bunny, right? All right. For our table topics, it's 1 to 3 minutes, as Joe said. That's what I thought. Okay. We here in this group will be using 1.5 to 2 minutes. However, and we are going to use the word heritage. So I have to tell you, in 2013, TV Guide counted Looney Tunes as the 3rd greatest television cartoon series of all. Third, that's what I thought too. Behind The Simpsons, really, and The Flintstones. Maggie Craig, what is your favorite cartoon series and why? And use the word heritage in that. Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. No, sir. Table topics master. I'm getting it. I trying to for the first time use proper something. My heritage is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has bought me a house, bought me a car. I've worked for Warner Brothers many times, and but my initial experience with Warner Brothers is Saturday morning cartoons. And my favorite memory of that is going to my grandparents. And I come from a very large family. And every Saturday, there happened to be cousins sitting around in my grandparents' living room, and we would watch cartoons together. And my grandmother would stuff us with lots of wonderful treats. So I have a good memory of the early days of Warner Brothers. Growing up past that, I worked on quite a few Warner Brothers shows and was very excited when that happened. But the most exciting moment for me in Warner Brothers was the day I did my first job on the lot. Termite Terrace was actually not on the lot. It was on Van Ness Avenue in Burbank, Hollywood. And it's no longer there, but it is legendary, and it is spoken of on the lot as the first animation studio. I didn't work on an animated show. And sadly, the first show I did on the lot at Warner Brothers was The Fosters, which was Freeform, which is the mouse. And I've also worked on shows for Disney where, we'd say we're working for the mouse. There's my because I'm going to keep them coming. Warner Brothers is my heritage. I have really enjoyed my time working for them. I have made many friends, and it's been a lifelong piece of happiness for me. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, fellow Toastmasters. My heritage as a child, I traveled across the country without a car seat. I ate dirt. I never wore a helmet as I was riding my bike. And I watched those violent Looney Tune cartoons. In the meantime, Warner Brothers has scrubbed a lot of those violent scenes and taken out the violence and dangerous stunts, stereotypes, and alcohol consumption too. So, Beth Banks, you are online. Can you tell me, has this been a good thing or a bad thing? And what do you think of this? Is she still there?
Okay, I can't even click buttons yet, so maybe all the pain pills are not out of my system. So who knows what I will say today? I don't know. So can you repeat the question for me?
So taking the violence and alcohol consumption and all the things that made Looney Tunes so great, is that good for our youth or is it not? Has it helped our youth or has it made no difference? And the word of the day is heritage.
Yes, thank you. I will admit, yes, some of my heritage was watching all those cartoons. I don't believe it made me a violent person. So therefore, I do question why we would take all of that out. I think sometimes we take choices away from children now that then we're not teaching them to make choices. If we create a world that is just milk toast, it's what they're used to. They don't have to make choices. They don't have to think for themselves. My grandchildren have watched some of the old Looney Tunes, and I talked to them about it once. Well, what do you think? This is my heritage. Is it yours? And do you think this is making you violent? And they both just burst out laughing and said to me, Nana, you do know this is a cartoon, right? And it's not real. So I thought, out of the mouths of babes, yes, I do know it's a cartoon. I'm glad you two see it as a cartoon. And I hope that your generation sees it as a cartoon. I have a hard time differentiating between the idea that they play video games, not my grandchildren so much, but children of that age that are very violent, but we have to take the violence out of Looney Tunes. That's a big question for me. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Beth. And Sylvia, Looney Tune cartoons were noted for their ending with Porky Pig ending the show saying, "That's all, folks." Are there any jingles or tunes that are especially memorable from your childhood? And
No, morning. Memorable jingles from there. I'm drawing a blank on that, but I am going to kind of piggyback off of Beth's question. I like her question better. And the violence, and it's so funny because this whole topic brings me back down memory lane of the living on Niagara Avenue in Niagara Falls there with my brother and in the morning, early Saturdays, and our heritage. Funny, it's because my favorite is Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, and the hunting. And it was funny. It was just hysterical. And yeah, get the beak blown off of Daffy and then he push it back and put it straight, and he hate him and not winning and always losing to Bugs Bunny. But that was comical. It's just like some of the old TV shows that they took off, that they offend people, I guess, nowadays. And I just had a conversation with one of my sons and said, get a thicker skin, grow a thicker skin, because life is not fair. And I don't think that hurts anyone, and as Beth brought the video games, which is more violent and shooting and hunting each other down, and whatever they are, I don't watch them, but my kids played them. And yeah, I could see that being a little bit, but they take off the Looney Tunes, funny things, and it just drives me nuts. But that's part of us and the heritage that we grew up in, and I guess the baby boomers. So I will leave it on that.
Thank you, Sylvia. Pass it over to our Toastmaster.
At this time, Before we vote, we have to have a timer's report and a word master's report. And here comes our timer, Joe Budnick.
Thank you. All three of our contestants qualified, Maggie at 150, Beth Banks at 150, and Sylvia at 155. Very good.
Steve Smith with the word of the day.
I'm happy to report that all of our contestants used the word of the day. Beth actually used it twice, so they all qualify for my end.
Thank you very much, so much, Stephen. We had an interesting point that Tracy brought up that enables me to do a little filler here, a tiny bit of filler. There is a connection between Warner Brothers and the Flintstones. Anybody know what the connection is between the Warner Brothers Termite Terrace characters and the Hanna-Barbera characters in the Flintstones? Yeah, connection. They have one thing in common. They have more things in common, but one thing I'm looking for. No. Who said voices? You're Mel Blanc, thank you. Who said Mel Blanc? Oh, good. My other trivia expert, yes. Mel Blanc played Barney Rubble in the Flintstones. Now, the bonus question for extra credit is, where'd the Flintstones come from? What TV show inspired the Flintstones? Very good. Very good. We're just having a heritage, worthless information, pop culture moment here. I'm so happy this is turning out. All right, now. Oh, I'm sorry. The answer was Mel Blanc did the voice for Barney Rubble, and he did approximately 40 voices for the Warner Brothers crew. And when Mel Blanc died, the Disney store was still open in the Galleria Mall, and I couldn't afford it. I didn't buy it, but there was a spectacular piece of artwork in the Warner Brothers store with all the characters lined up with their heads bowed, tear on everyone's cheek when Mel Brooks died. It was all the characters he did the voice for. I'm sorry. Well, at least I didn't say Marty Zimmer. The Honeymooners? Somebody said Honeymooners, okay. Thank you, Coach. I have to go a little bit off Termite Terrace here to share my favorite moment with you of Daffy Duck. In the film, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was a Disney production. And Disney and their largesse approached Warner Brothers and said, well, we have to put bugs in. And Warner Brothers said, fine, you can use bugs, but Mickey and Bugs will have the same amount of screen time. That was insisted on that. But the Daffy Duck, Donald Duck moment of a lifetime, they were playing twin pianos like Ferrati and Teicher. And Donald went off on a rant, and you can't understand them. And Daffy looks at the camera and says, that's the last time I worked with somebody with a speech impediment. I like that one. All right. Speaker number one is Mark Campos, and I put down that he's going to be evaluated by Beth Banks, or am I wrong? Well, any Banks will do in a storm.
Any banks will do in a storm.
So Kate, you're evaluating?
I mean, are you?
I don't care. Go ahead.
Are you prepared? Are you?
I thought you were evaluating someone else. No?
Oh, darn, I can't read. So good job, Kate. Mom, go right ahead. I thought because you were on table topics that I made a mistake. So go right ahead. She's on top of things. We're throwing all the challenges at Mom now that she's back.
Yeah, thanks a
Welcome
lot,
back
guys.
to full health.
Yeah, uh-huh. I can't say that I'm at full health, but good morning, everyone, especially Mark. And I do have the privilege of evaluating Mark, which is always a challenge to find anything he could improve upon. Today, he's working in the presentation mastery pathway, and he is creating effective visual aids. He wants me to make sure that I look to make sure that he's using effective aids. He can only use 1 to 3, so I have to make sure I count those carefully, and that he's well organized. Are these effective visual aids? His title for today is interesting to me because we all know that Mark is working towards that retirement, and his title is Office Cleanout. Always a challenge. Mark Campos, Office Cleanout.
Mr. Timer, if you could hold off on the time for just a moment, please. I cannot allow it to pass without commenting on Looney Tunes. How on earth is Looney Tunes ranked the #3 cartoon of all time? It is the GOAT. It is the greatest of all time. And some of my favorite characters, lesser known characters, Foghorn Leghorn with the Chicken Hawk, Porky Pig, Wile E. Coyote, Super Genius, some brilliant characters. Always loved Looney Tunes. And to my evaluator, forget 1 to 3. I've got more than that, so cut me a little slack. Okay, we can begin. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests, good morning. As you know, I am in full countdown mode to my retirement on December 20th. And at last week's Toastmasters meeting, in the chat that was going on behind the scenes, David Jones astutely noticed that it's getting a little emptier behind me. And he observed that I had probably begun my office cleanout. Well, at this point, my workload has diminished. I guess you could say I'm somewhat semi-retired at this point. And yes, indeed, I have started to clean out my office. And that's been an interesting exercise, going through old files, shredding certain things. I came across a folder that had stuff from 30 years ago, attaboy memos and letters and things that I kept that really brought a smile to my face. And another part of the exercise was boxing up the various trinkets that all of us tend to decorate our offices with. And accordingly, I thought it might be fun today to play a little show and tell with you with some of these trinkets. So let's start with this first one. This is a little award I earned somewhere in the early 90s. I'm not really sure what I did to really earn it. It probably wasn't all that big of a thing, but I'm particularly fond of this one because it's branded New York Telephone, which is what we were at the time. This was for the 1+1 teamwork program. And I love it because I love the old Bell System logo, which I was always very proud of that heritage that we always had within the company. So I've always enjoyed keeping this one around. Let's go to 1993. This commemorative document, if you will, was issued to all of us that worked in the World Trade Center at the time when it was bombed the first time in 1993. Company was recognized and was very proud of how we maintained service during that particular crisis. We had 6 floors in the South Tower, or number 2 World Trade Center. That included a central office building, which we managed to keep functional throughout the entire crisis. And of course, we commemorated that event. And at the time, we thought it was a pretty big deal. Turns out we found out a few years later, it wasn't really quite that big of a deal. This next item is a plaque from the Alpha 4 program, which I was very privileged to attend and graduate from. Now, this was a very selective program that you had to be nominated for, where you spent 10 weeks in Marlborough, Massachusetts. We had a training center that had a dormitory and everything, learning about data communications and information technology. And it was quite a challenging program. You would go for 2 weeks at a time, you would live in the dorm, and at the end of each 2-week module, you had to go into a room one-on-one with one of the instructors and basically pass an oral examination on what was covered in that 2-week period. You could draw on the marker board and all that sort of stuff, or you could just talk it through. And that was quite a challenging experience. But more importantly to me, what this memory brings back is the friendships I made during that particular program, friendships that have endured for 23 years since. And during that 10 weeks in Marlboro, I can say with absolute certainty, we worked hard and we played hard too. The next item, let's fast forward to 2001, post 9/11. This particular hard hat is very unique to me and something that I keep on my shelf. This is the hard hat I wore for a month down at Ground Zero, post 9/11. And this hard hat has a couple of unique things on it. Number one, you'll notice the American flags. Now, anybody that's ever worked in construction or is familiar with safety knows you should never, ever have a sticker on a hard hat, despite what you may see out on the street, because it could conceal a crack or something that's compromised in the integrity of the hard hat. But post 9/11, none of us really cared. American flags were being issued left and right, and we proudly applied them to our hard hats. You'll also notice that my name, first name, is written on all 4 sides of the hard hat. And the reason for this was, if in the event you were in a dangerous situation, you were more likely to respond quickly to somebody yelling out your name as opposed to saying, hey, you, look out, watch out. So this is a pretty powerful memory for me. Fast forward 2006, just a Verizon hat. But what's cool about this one, it's branded Buffalo, New York. And it was part of the storm recovery as part of the October surprise in October 2006. Now, at that time, I wasn't in field operations, but I did get a hat, and I really treasure this one just because of the unique Buffalo branding. And last but not least, I have a couple of items. These are just some awards from my most recent position that I've had for the last 11 years as a central office network manager for Western and Central New York, which by far has been the best job I've ever had in this company and a perfect conclusion to my nearly 36-year career. So fellow Toastmasters, as happy and excited as I am to move into retirement and grateful to be in this position, make no mistake, after that many years, it's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of strong feelings that come out. But having the opportunity to look at these things again and reflect upon them brings back some very strong and powerful memories and things that I'm very proud of. Mr. Toastmaster.
Hey, Mark. Good job. Oh, not supposed to say anything about the speakers, sir. You know, can't apologize either. We don't do that. Before we go further, I'd like to put in a word for the people that chase the orange juice and the pastries and the coffee, and please avail yourself. Poor Katie doesn't want to take home all those extra pastries. Well,
Those are from Tater Cakes again.
yes. So don't be shy, and if you don't want to grab one now, grab one later, or take some with you as you egress the meeting. Evaluator number 2 is Catherine Orr. She's going to be evaluating Marty Johnson. Here she is, Kate Orr.
Thank you very much. Take 2. We're all here in Toastmasters for a long time, some of us to keep improving and not jump the gun and try to be the evaluator that you're not. I am so eager to evaluate Marty Johnston, a longtime leader and communicator in this club. Mr. Timer, this is a 4 to 6 minute speech because he is returning to the icebreaker as a practice. For our guest and newest members, the icebreaker is the first speech. We often revisit that to practice again in some way. This is presentation mastery path, level 1. And the purpose is to introduce yourself in some way and use the basic structure of a public speech. And so the task for Marty today is to write and deliver a speech about any topic style, and it can be humorous, it can be informational, or any other style or styles that appeal to you. So to our guests and newest members, be listening because this is the kind of speech you might do for your first. Again, it can be in any method. Shall I introduce his title as well? I believe, I think you should be busy snacking on, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, snacking at open house. All right, we have Mr. Marty Johnston, Distinguished Toastmaster with Presentation Mastery, No Mystery. Presentation Mastery, No Mystery. Marty.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Most welcome guests. I see in the audience, there are a couple people that have never heard about me or my icebreaker. So I'll tell you a little about me. My name is Marty Johnston, as Kate said. I do like the cartoon characters that Dave was talking about. My heritage goes back to Foghorn Leghorn is probably one of my favorites because I do raise hens and I do have a Foghorn Leghorn, which someday might end up, well, probably not, in a soup kettle because it likes to, rightly so, it's protecting its eggs. Besides being a Toastmaster, I grew up in Lockport, born and raised in Lockport. I graduated from DeSales High School, went to Bryant and Stratton Business Institute down on Main Street across from the famous chicken wing restaurant I'm sure many of you know about. I graduated from SUNY Brockport along with Dave Licata, another SUNY Brockport alumni. I studied business administration and marketing management. I currently work for Tops Markets. I've worked there for 20 years. I've worked from the bottom. I'm working my way up. I don't know if I'll ever be a store manager, but I've been an assistant and I've held many roles within the store. And I've learned a great deal, not only from work, but from Toastmasters. That's why I keep coming back to improve my leadership, my communication skills, my presentation skills. Now that you know a little bit about me, I'm going to tell you 3 main points that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to talk about what led me to this path in presentation mastery. Secondly, I'm going to tell you about some of my other accomplishments within Toastmasters. And lastly, my goal for the path of presentation mastery. And it's no mystery, it's mastery. Presentation mastery, that's why we keep coming back to learn and become better. Okay, what led me to presentation mastery? Some of you know that Pathways is our education program where we use the programs, the online tutorials for the education program to learn more about leadership and development and practice objectives for certain types of speeches, certain types of paths, and those paths have objectives for all the different speeches. And that's how we learn and grow within the organization. Well, the main thing that led me to presentation mastery was that I've completed 1 speech shy of 3 paths, and I can't give that because there's a time frame where you have to, there's a 6-month time frame where you have to do some projects, and so I wasn't ready to finish that path. So I started presentation mastery because I've given many speeches, but I'm still not perfect. That's why I'm here. Even though I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the combination of the leadership program and the communication program, I'm still not perfect. I'll be the first one to tell you. And I'm here to improve and also to have fun and enjoy the camaraderie among everyone here and on Zoom. So my accomplishments will be the second thing I want to talk about outside of the club. I participated in some fun contests. We have a variety of contests and they differ each year. There's table topics, there's tall tales where you expand on a topic and you make it unbelievable and it's a short speech. That was fun. I had a lot of great memories from that. And there's also what's called the International Speech Contest, which is an inspirational speech, which is a 5 to 7 minute speech. And I've competed at the club level and the area level, and I've learned a great deal. And I would encourage any of you that have never done that to get out of your comfort zone and go for it, because you learn not only more about yourself, but you see other people speaking. You pick up tips on introductions, on how to use props, different vocal variety, using all these different skills that you learn from other people that you don't see every week. So you're gaining a lot of skills and knowledge that you wouldn't get from the club. And third and last but not least are my goals for the path, presentation mastery. My goal is to use the projects in the path to become a better communicator, a better leader in this club, and also to help me with my current role, which is the Vice President of Membership. And I must say, if there are any guests here today, be sure to see me before you leave, because I have membership applications. Anyone on Zoom or any member here that knows of a member that you think can benefit from Toastmasters personally or professionally, you can have them see me or another officer, and we'll inform you a little bit more. If you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Mr. Toastmaster, for me, presentation mastery is no mystery. It's all about Toastmasters and becoming better each week. Mr. Toastmaster, thank you.
For the benefit of our guests, the DTM is our version of the Eagle Scout. And Eagle Scouts are always prepared. So even though he was late, and I certainly can't get mad at him for that, it's time for Eric Snyder to deliver an Eric Snyder joke. These are especially his brand, equaled by no other people. It's amazing. I don't think you get a choice. If the Toastmaster of the day tells you to get up here, it's pretty much the way it goes, buddy. Thank you very much. Well, the guy be president twice.
Dave, can I talk to you outside for a minute, please?
Oh, but I'll take you out of the pool.
Moving on. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer? I'm doing corny jokes this morning. She kept running away from the ball. One more. Hey, it's your fault, David. No, I'm just kidding. Hey. What did the horse say after it tripped? Okay, I'll repeat it. What did the horse say after it tripped? Help, I've fallen and I can't giddy up. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Another brief, I'll share that later. Never mind. Okay, we have speaker number 3. That's Mary Cavanero. Oh, you're a evaluator. I can't get out of bed in time. I can't see. I can't read. It's amazing. I'm just so happy to be here. All right. Evaluator number 3 is Mary Carbonaro, and she's gonna handle a fellow Goomba, Mike Florio. Come on up, Mary. It's her first time.
And it was your birthday. Happy belated
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. It's a belated birthday. Speaking of belated birthdays, my birthday was Saturday, but it took a whole day for Tyler Bass to give me an extra special gift. 61 yards field goal over the hated Miami Dolphins. Oh, that's how long the kid was.
No, he's 60. He's 76, I think. So Mike Florio's path is coaching, and his project is to connect with your audience. His purpose is to practice skills needed to connect with unfamiliar audience. A topic that is usually unexpected in your club, and his goal is to deliver his speech without using notes. His title is From There to Here, 5 to 7 minutes. What? You shouldn't tell everybody that because everybody could hear what you just said. Oh, Mike.
I think this is turning into a little Looney Tunes already here. Yeah, kind of. Webbit season, duck season. I have to agree with you, Sylvia. That was one of my favorites. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our guest this morning. Now that I'm a little bit older, just a little bit older, I tend to reminisce a little bit and look back at my notes as to what, what I've done, how I've come from here to there. Right. And I look at times in my life where they were pivotal times in my life, and I look back at the year of 2000, and that was kind of a pivotal year for me for 3 reasons. Number one, I bought a house for my mother, right? And that I've done plenty of speeches on the rental business, right? And that was the first rental I had, and my mother was probably the toughest person in the world to rent to. So that was a great experience for me. And my mom lived there for 22 years, and I learned a lot. The second thing was I left my job and I started working for waste management in the recycling division. And a friend of mine where I worked before at Cascade, which was a paper mill, said, Mike, that might be the last job you ever have in your life. And I go, oh, come on, you kidding me? So now, 25 years later, half a quarter of a century, he was pretty much spot on. That is probably going to be the last job I ever have. I don't think I want to work for anybody else now that I have my rental business, to be quite honest. And then the third thing is that my dad passed away that year. Okay. And that was, looking back, kind of a pivotal time for me. My dad passed away, and it turned into a wake-up call for me. My dad was only 60 when he passed away, and I am 62 right. So my dad passed away young. He worked in the steel mill pretty much all his life, breathed in Simon Steel. Yeah, David. And you breathe in a lot of stuff there. It was not the ideal place to work, but my dad did it, and he supported his family and did a good job. To me, it woke me up saying, okay, I've got to do something about my health. And I started running, kind of like Forrest Gump, I was like out there and I'm going, I just started to exercise thinking that would be something that would help me in the future. And I bought a treadmill and I started running. I couldn't, up to that point, I hadn't even run around the block. So I did a little bit. I went 5 minutes. Then next thing you know, I went 10 minutes. And next thing you know, I kept running more and more. Well, I broke that treadmill. So what I ended up doing was, instead of repairing it, I said, well, I'm going to go to the Y. I'm going to go to the Y, get my YMCA membership. YMCA. Yeah, that's right. Next. We were going to the YW anyway. So I started running there, and I met friends, of course, introduced to other people that were runners, and I'm not really a runner, but okay, I'll join you guys on a run here. So that led to my first 5K. I've done over 150 5Ks. I mean, put on some weight since then. And then all of a sudden they said, well, let's go a little bit further. And I go, okay, we'll do that. We'll try a 5-miler. And then it just led to others more and more. And it was from meeting these people and being challenged, really. And I enjoyed that. And it was a great stress reliever. It became a lifestyle for me, in a sense, because I started way back in 2000. I mean, 2 decades I've been running now, and over 7,000 miles I've logged, and I enjoy logging them, and I don't run now. I do the bike, but I also do an exercise class, and I have my crew, and Len's going to share with you a photo that I have here. It's that skinny guy on your right hand side. That's me, and that's my crew. And in front of there is Janine, and Janine is around my age, I'll just say, and she can run circles around people that are 20 years old. She breaks people for a living, pretty much. And I know that our motto here is worth getting up for, right? And that's my Thursday motto, is worth getting up for. But my Monday, Wednesday, Friday motto is still worth getting up for, and her class is worth getting up for. It challenges me to this day, and I have been in Janine's class for probably about 20 years as well. And what happened was, as I started running further and further and training for these marathons and everything, right, I needed to cross train. And so Janine says, well, Mike, you've got to try my class. And I go, okay, well, no thanks. I don't want to take an exercise class like that. But ultimately she talked me into it. And that was the greatest thing ever, that she talked me into that, because they kept me accountable, those people. They pushed me, and they said, where were you yesterday, Mike? How come you didn't show up? Well, I go, hey, I got a job. I had to go work. We don't want to hear that. We're here early in the morning. You have to be here. So that crew right there pushed me, and they're still there now. And I know that what we do is a wonderful thing here, right? But back there is also a wonderful thing right behind us. And I say to you all, challenge yourself in one way or another to go out there, walk around the track. I see this lovely couple. They've been retired now for, 15 years. They walk that track 25 laps together every day. And that's their workout. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and, pound these weights on the floor like these people up here, but you can definitely get something out of it. Water aerobics, right? So it's become a way of life for me that I'm going to continue to do. So in my mind, I'll leave you with this, that I would rather be the oldest guy in the gym than the youngest guy in the nursing home. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. We need a timers report, Steve, for our speakers. Oh, sorry. Steve is word master. Joe Budnick is timer.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
So all three of our contestants qualified, Mark Campos at 6:15, Marty Johnston at 5:45, and Mike Florio at 7:05. Yes, they did.
Take a moment to cast your ballot for our best speaker. Take a moment to go to the top of your ticket, your ballot, if you want to write a little message to the speaker du jour. And give them some encouragement or some little secrets that you wish to share with them. Now, you're probably wondering, gee, Dave, what's your favorite cartoon from the termite terrorist people? Well, first of all, I want to give you some more worthless information because Marty mentioned Foghorn Leghorn. Foghorn Leghorn was a lip from a character on the Fred Allen radio show. And the Fred Allen radio show, he is a senator from the South. And he would make these terrible jokes, but they had their place on the Fred Allen show. They fit in nicely. But when Foghorn Leghorn would look at the camera point of view and say, there's something about a kid that's never played baseball. I like that line. And plus, nice fella, but he doesn't pay attention. Pay attention, boy. You're not a chicken hawk. So my favorite cartoon is featuring a gentleman that didn't have a name for a long time, a little tiny frog that they found. I can't even keep a straight face. They found this little tiny frog in a time capsule as they were tearing down a building. The gentleman opens up the little tin box and finds a frog in it. The frog looks incredibly barely alive, and all of a sudden he comes to life, throws on a top hat, puts a cane under his arm, and goes, "Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire, baby. You put my soul on fire." And the guy goes, "I'm gonna be rich." Of course, the frog will not perform in public. And that's Michigan T. Frog. See, you didn't know he had a name, but that's his name now. What? Pull yourself together. Excited. I'm going to turn the meeting over to the general evaluator. She will call for the evaluators. She will call for the reports. So I'm going to end my portion of the meeting with a trivia question. What is written on Mel Blanc's tombstone? Thank you very much. It's all yours, Nancy.
Okay, we are ready for our evaluators to present to us. And I believe the first evaluator was Beth Banks, and you are on, Miss Beth.
Morning, Nancy.
Uh,
Yes,
time-
I'm on.
Wait, time is 2 to 3 minutes. Sorry for the time.
No, that's fine.
Here it's clear.
That's fine. Thank you. I don't anticipate using all 3 minutes because as usual, Mark just gave us an amazing speech. He's so well organized. Being a math teacher, I think I really appreciate people who work in chronological order, and that is what he did today with his different +3 visual aids. So I really like that myself, but that's just me. Of course, his gestures are wonderful, vocal variety. He does something that I find challenging is being on Zoom and being able to make eye contact for me with that little teeny white circle that's at the top of the computer. I tend to want to look at myself and other people, but he does a great job there. Had some great information about all of his visual aids and all that. So I love the going through the trinkets from the office. Having retired myself already, yes, you find some amazing things when you're going through a room you've worked in for a long time. Some I didn't even know what they were. One of the things I had to get rid of when I retired was a bottle that was left for me from my predecessor. I believe it was at a time when that was okay to do, as the Looney Tunes are. And he left that for me. I found that in the back of one of the cupboards, and I decided that I really needed to get that out of the building very quickly, because by the time I found it, it was not necessarily politically correct. Really, the only thing I want you to work on, you have to come up with a new background now. What are you going to do there? A new background. And I would like to challenge yourself, only because I've been through this. Don't take your office home anymore after retirement. Don't have dreams about still going back to work, or them giving you a demotion, or anything like that. Try to remember that you're retired and you don't have to go back to work anymore. Good luck. Great speech, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And following Beth is Katie, and she is Katie Orr. She is our second evaluator, evaluating Marty Johnston. Katie.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and especially Marty. You really spoke from the heart today. You always do. You're a very sincere speaker. Today, it felt like such a different kind of icebreaker. Again, tip of the iceberg for anyone in the room who doesn't really know Marty, or for any of us who have known him for a decade or better. I still think we get to know each other a little more every time we're in the spaces together. I loved your natural gestures, your natural comfort and poise at this lectern. I loved your eye contact with the camera and with the folks in the room. That is definitely not an easy task, even though we have been trying to work in this hybrid format for a long time. Your pacing and your voice, tone, and smooth connection to us helped relay what your message was, and your language was strong. For example, culmination and camaraderie, that rich vocabulary adds credibility to you as a speaker. First, you gave us kind of what your credibility is, your skill set, your background with your employment for anybody who doesn't know you already. And then you showed us how you are and how you've given us that. You always use counting, and that's effective and clear. I loved it. Nice title. Your timing was right in the yellow, right in the middle. It is very challenging to find suggestions for a distinguished Toastmaster. There were just a couple of uhs and ums. It was such a natural conversational style, though, that was comfortable. It didn't stand out as jarring. I think when we talk in our evaluation, we speak of what did you do well and what you could work on and how to challenge yourself. Well, goodness, how to challenge yourself. You did mention you're going to continue, maybe get another distinguished Toastmaster. DTM is basically the highest level that most Toastmasters aspire to reach, and some do it twice or 3 times. And so that is an amazing thing that I know Marty is working towards. You inspire us to challenge ourselves more. You, for anyone who did not know also, he is our vice president of membership. He has been an officer many times, and he has been the next level area director, and he has been the next level division director. He took time off this year. So my challenge for you is, now that you are eligible to compete in the contests because you're not an area director or a division director, I can't wait to hear you compete at this club level, win, and keep on going. Thank you so much, Marty. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Kate. And now I'm excited to have Mary Cabanero present her evaluation of Mike Florio. And this is her first evaluation, so I'm excited to welcome her. And I know that firsts are always difficult, Mary. You got this.
I didn't rip him apart though. Go ahead. I was told not to rip him apart. Yes, do something. So Mike, you excelled. You had a very good opening with a good joke, and you ended with a funny quote. Your clarification, you spoke well, and it was clear and easy to understand. You used your vocal variety, used tones and speech and volume as tools. Your eye contact was very good. Your audience awareness demonstrates audience, and your comfort level, it was really good. Your interest was really good. And you used pictures and stories, and you talked about Janine. And your topic was very good. You might need to work on, you need more gestures. You didn't want to use notes, but you used more notes than what you thought you could use. You achieved your purpose in presenting in an unusual topic. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. Let's give Mary a hand for her coming up and challenging herself to do things for the first time. Now, as general evaluator, I really didn't have a chance to, I know, I didn't have a chance to to write down notes, and because I got called on immediately. That's a little bit out of order for me, so I would have appreciated a heads up that I was going to be up here before I had a chance to do my general evaluator report. I would like to call on our timer, Joe Budnick.
All three of our evaluators qualified, Beth at 2:33, Catherine at 2:37, and Mary at 1:55. Wonderful.
Oh, it sounds like all three qualified. Please cast your ballots for one of our evaluators, Mary, Beth, or Katie. It looks like the bucket is coming around, the chock full of nuts. I don't know what that says about our club. Oh. Back in the day, that was my favorite coffee. I don't know if it was because it was the only one that was in the house or was on sale or what, but we always had chock full of nuts. They were just less fancy coffees. Okay. I would like to ask our word master and grammarian and all master wearing 3 hats, all combined into one. Steve Smith, how did our word heritage go today? And share with us some of your grammar and findings. Steve Smith.
Thank you. Well, the word of the day did fair. Dave used it a couple of times. Tracy used it. Mark Campus used it. I didn't catch anybody else using it. And I thought it was a good word. I heard a smattering of ahs and ums and a couple of so's. I'm not going to name names because they were relatively few. We're getting better. I didn't hear any grammar that jumped out at me as being really bad or really great. So that's kind of middle of the road on that. So I think we're doing good in that. Now, as long as I have the floor, talking about taking the violence out of the cartoons. Now, I grew up watching this stuff. I know what you've cut out of it. I grew up watching all of the cartoons, the Three Stooges, and all these so-called violent things. I don't go around hitting people. It's a few I'd like to, but I'm not going to. So I think it's a bunch of foolishness. And my favorite character, who nobody mentioned this morning, is Yosemite Sam.
I knew.
Get along here, Galoot. I am surprised no one brought him up. That's my report. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Steve, under my breath, I said Yosemite Sam, and I can't believe I picked the right one. Everybody has their favorite. What a fun topic today. The Warner Brothers memories from childhood. I can't remember who's my favorite. I want to say the Roadrunner, but Roadrunner and the Coyote, because it was predictable, I guess. Not sure why, but I was always fascinated by that one. As far as the meeting flow today, was a little choppy weather on the ocean. Grew up on the ocean, so I think about choppy, little bit of waves. Dave, being punctual really helps. It puts you together as a Toastmaster to be here on time and get things so that you're feeling here and ready. There's these little things called sleep, alarm clock. I don't know, maybe. Two, I said there are these things, sleep and alarm clocks always help a little bit. So being punctual, we have a guest this morning and our guest was welcomed. I welcome you again, Katie. Glad that you are here. I was going to say you wore a shirt, a Warner Brothers shirt. How exciting that you follow the theme. That's important. We work on this club with like professionalism with fun, having fun. And when we come to the meetings, we have grace. We offer our evaluations to each other. We offer challenges, helping people to be better at whatever they do. We also allow for a lot of mistakes because that's who we are. We're human and we never pull it off perfect. So I always say that we are worth getting up for, and it's a lot of fun to be here. And it's also great to see Eric in person. Eric? Yeah, I know. We get tired of seeing that frozen little picture of you on the thing. And I'm so glad to see so many people on our Zoom too. And what a great way to be able to all be here, people from all over. We don't have to come in person. It's a great gift that we have. I had something else. Carol Ann, thank you for stepping up right in the beginning. And our quiz master, Anne Marie.
Yes, good morning
you there?
again. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Wow, tons of trivia, really exciting meeting. And it was hard to limit my questions, but I did limit them to 10. There were 10 points each, so keep your score. And if you get 90, you get an A. So question number 1, who is Joe Butnick's favorite cartoon character?
Marvin the Martian?
Marvin the Martian, excellent. Okay. Tracy mentioned that the Looney Tunes was awarded the 3rd great TV program in what year?
2013, I hear in the room.
Excellent. Very good. Wow. And Porky Pig had a phrase that he used at the end of the show. What was it?
That's all, folks.
folks.
Excellent. I think everybody knew that one. Wow. And then Dave mentioned that there was a connection between Warner Brothers and the Flintstones. What was that?
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc. And what did he do? What was he good for?
Barney Rubble.
Barney.
Right. The voices that he did. And then Mark. What was Mark Campos's title of his speech?
Oh,
Office cleanout.
This clean out. Excellent. Okay, number 6. What date does Mark plan to retire?
December 20th.
December 20th. Excellent. And then how many years, number 7, how many years did he actually work for his career?
36.
36. Boy, you people are right on. Wow. Who is the favorite character for Marty Johnson?
Leghorn. Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Right.
What a name. I wasn't familiar with that. That's really has a ring to it. And Mike Fiorio, what was his speech title?
From here to there.
From here to there. Excellent.
From here to
Was it
there.
it was from here to there, right? Not there to here, right? Okay, and last but not least, your last chance to get 10 points. Dave's favorite cartoon was?
One Friday Evening is the name of the cartoon, and Michigan Chief Frog is the character.
The frog.
What was the name?
Michigan J. Frog.
Michigan,
Michigan
excellent.
Frog.
Okay, Stephen, that's excellent. Okay. So just add up your points and hopefully you did well. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, and now call up who wants to come up here? Our president. There you are. And we have some winners. Would you like to take care of the winners?
Yeah. Before we do that, we like to invite Katie up to give her overall tenor of the meeting. Please help me welcome up Katie.
Morning, please.
Oh,
Good morning, everybody. Nice to be here. I will say I'm not the greatest morning person, but I somehow pulled it together today. Yeah, and I was talking to Kate on the phone last week, and I was not able to make it for the Zoom or for the live here today. But it was really nice to hear what everybody was doing last week as I was driving down to the Southern Tier. So I do probably plan to come here more often, get up in front of the microphone and start gaining some skills. You know, it's very helpful. Everybody's bringing tidbits to the table, so I appreciate that. And taking lots of notes, and now I have to get into that creative process as well and bring that forward also. So anyways, thank you very much, and I will hand it back to Eric. Okay.
All right, we have winners to award to our members. And Dave, you want to take over?
No, you don't have to wander off.
Oh,
We're still friends. All right, thank you. The table topic winner today is a character from the Tweety cartoons, the sweet lady that owns Tweety. That would be Beth Banks. The evaluator would be from a foghorn, leghorn music, the little young chicken hawk that can't be dissuaded. That would be Kate Orr. And the best speaker this morning, it's hard to pair up a character with him. There is a mafia style character in one of the Bugs Bunny cartoons. So we'd like to welcome up Speaker Mike Florio.
That was a tough one. 3M. You had the split club, the 3M. Yes, Len has the split club. Let's wrap this up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You can.
Um,
No, don't start with an I'm evaluating you right now.
okay.
Hold on now, and the lucky winner is?
Read the last three numbers is 735.
Check mine, will you? It's not- Nancy.
Nancy, she said to put it back. I would like Kate to come up. She has an announcement to make.
Yeah, Eric and Kate, we'll also have an announcement from Karen Stewart, who just joined us.
I
So
see that.
make,
Awesome.
make time for her, please.
So this is what I'm going to say, Mark and everybody, we're going to, because it is 8:26, if we do need to stop the recording, we can conclude the meeting as immediate past president. I did that. And then I'll invite Karen to speak, plus I have some announcements as well. So if you'd like to wrap up the recording to get that rolling. So, okay. Karen is our division director and has joined us this morning on Zoom. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I am. I apologize that my video settings don't allow me to see you, but I could not resist stopping in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Stopping in to let you all know that you are invited tomorrow, if you are available, to Zoom in or attend in person. Downtown Toastmasters is hosting a debate. The topic is, should speakers be assigned speeches, or should they get to choose when they speak, taking their own initiative to sign up?
Oh, wow. Cool.
Have pros and cons and rebuttals and evaluators. I realize this is short notice, but that's why I'm here. It's such a unique opportunity. The great news is, if any of you are not available tomorrow, they have purchased a number of debate materials from TI, and I imagine we'll be hosting another debate, or perhaps it could even lead to a workshop, giving us all clues.
What time is
So
that, Karen? Sorry to interrupt. You said 7:30 PM?
I'm not surprised. I did not say that.
It's okay.
7:30 a.m. sharp.
Oh, AM. They're normal meetings. It's at Buff State and Downtown Toastmasters.
Yeah,
With Glenn
Buffalo
Gordon.
State College. For anyone who decides to make the trek, parking is free, and it is fairly easy to find on the campus. I just texted Eric the link to their page on Toast Host, and it shows, you scroll down on that page and it shows the link to their meetings. Tons of helpful details, whether you're going in person or Zooming in.
Okay, awesome. Karen, Eric will send that out to all of our members. Thank you so much for
All right, thank
coming.
you.
I've got a
Thank
few
you.
announcements I want to squeeze into, okay? Feel free to
Yes,
stay
yes,
on for
thank-
post toasties. All of you on
Excellent.
Zoom, even if we stop the recording, can we leave the Zoom on so folks that are on we can communicate with? Awesome. So I have some announcements from the district that I know Karen might want us to share also. So for anybody new and guests, our club is a 40-year-old club. Hooray, we've got some founders in the space today. Then the next level is the area and then the division, and then the district. District 65's calendar is out, and I can show our newest members and guests that if they haven't found it. This Saturday, I talked about contests. That's coming up starting in January. This Saturday is a Zoom training, how to run a contest. Then this Tuesday is Welcome to Toastmasters and Welcome to Pathways 101. That's this Tuesday evening. I'll share the link for the district calendar so you can get those Zooms. If anyone would like to attend I can join you or you can go on your own. This next Saturday, this is more for Eric and Les, our VP of PR, Canva Toastmasters branding session. That Saturday morning is on there. There's Mentor Monday coming up. And if you are a club officer and want to do early bird training and not wait until January, there is a session Tuesday, November 19th in the evening. And one last November announcement, Black Friday again is coming up, and there's a sale for the conference. The conference for the district is again in April, again at the Rochester Doubletree. So that's all on the calendar as well. A reminder that last week we decided that December 26th, we will be Zoom only. So our Zoom masters have agreed to do that kindly. And I want to give a shout out for the Looney Tune Gossamer, the big red guy, Gossamer, who's amazing. Gossamer and Petunia Pig. I always had a soft spot in my heart for little Petunia Pig. Okay, I think that is enough. Have we any other final things to wrap up? Did we